Hi and welcome to this demonstration. My name is Björn and I am the author and editor of Understanding SharePoint Journal. And in this video what I'm going to show you is how you set up IIS as part of preparations for setting up a lab environment in which you can develop on SharePoint. And I'm making this video in preparation for issue 5 of Understanding SharePoint Journal, which will cover beginning SharePoint development. So it'll basically just be an overview of what you need and what you can expect as a SharePoint developer, and walk you through some of the scenarios and tasks that you'll be doing there. So what I've done here is I've set up a brand new Windows Server 2003 Standard Edition server. It's a virtual machine. I'm using VMware to run my virtual machines, but you might as well use virtual PC if you prefer that piece of software. That's totally up to you. And besides that, I've gone to the Windows Update and I've downloaded all the updates, including all of the .NET frameworks, and that sort of affects how we're actually preparing our environment for SharePoint here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the control panel and we're going to go to the add remove programs. And as you can see here, we have all of the .NET frameworks installed. And as I said, this affects how we actually install IIS. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the Add Remove Windows Components button. And then we want to find the application server and click that. And once we do, we'll basically select all the components that we need for IIS and to basically set up the web server for our lab environment. And as I said, pay attention to this because I've already installed the ASP.NET frameworks, which means that when we install IIS now, it won't actually install or configure ASP.NET for us. So that's actually why I wanted to show you this, because we need to do a little trick here afterwards in order to actually make ASP.NET be allowed to run, and we'll get to that in just a moment after IIS installs. Now, the other thing I want to show you, and this has nothing to do with installation itself, but what I want to show you here is that I'm actually running this virtual machine on a total of 512 megabytes of memory. And people are sometimes concerned that, well, if you want to run a virtual server on your laptop, you need tons of memory and all that. For lab and development work and just to test out things, you don't really need all that memory. It'll make things faster for you, but you can make do with only 512 megs of RAM here. You'll probably want more when you set up the SQL server, and if you want to do, of course, anything in production, you want to have tons of more memory. So now the IIS has been installed, and we can verify this if we go to the start button and start button and into I hate that feature. Start button, administrative tools. You'll now see that we have a Internet Information Services Manager here. And if you go into this Information Services Manager, you'll see that we have IIS installed. But notice that we have none of the .NET Web Services extensions installed at all. And part of the preparation for SharePoint installation is that we actually need to install and configure and allow ASP.NET 2.0 to run on our server. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a command line to actually install this, and we need to run a command. I'll just show it to you in Explorer so you know where it is. It's under Windows, and you'll scroll down to find Microsoft.NET, and then you'll go into Framework, and you'll go into the .2.0 version. And inside here, you'll find a component which is called ASP.NET_IIS, reg IIS, and we need to run that command. So I'm going to do that now here. I'm going to go to my Windows directory, and I'm going to go to my Microsoft.NET, and I'm going to go into my framework, and I'm going to go into 2.0. Oops, we'll just check the name here. It will be v2, like this. And then we can run the ASP.NET command to register IIS as a component here. And to do that, you just run ASP.NET_reg IIS.exe, and you'll run /i. And this will basically set up IIS to recognize ASP.NET as an installed extension. So once this comes, we can go back into the IIS Information Services Manager. And we'll just wait for this complete now, and we'll it usually just takes a few seconds to actually install everything here. So we could probably actually go into it now. If you go into the web services extensions here, you'll now see that ASP.NET 2.0 has been installed, but it's still prohibited. You can't actually run any of the ASP.NET pages or extensions or anything. So what you need to do is you need to allow it. You can either right click, or you can just choose allow from the menu here. So that's basically all you need to do to set up IIS to actually be able to run SharePoint. The SharePoint installation itself will perform a lot of things for you, and you also need to prepare a couple of user accounts, but we'll cover that in a different video.